accountable when he threatens the rule of law. RAG's courage, their leadership, their dedication to justice is what keep our democracy strong. We know it's not easy, and we are thankful that they continue to rise to the challenge time and time again. It is now my great pleasure to introduce our Democratic Attorney Generals, and we're going to ask everyone to stand as they come in right now, all of our Attorney Generals from around our great country, led by Attorney General Tish James.
My niggas run the game.
Come on, give a better round of applause for our AG fight for us every day.
You got V12, I got 12 V's. Got bottles, got weed.
With that, let me turn over to our Attorney General. It's my great pleasure to introduce someone who has spent her career fighting for what's right without fear or favor. Our Attorney General, our badass Attorney General, Tish James.
Please be seated. Thank you, County Executive Ken Jenkins. Another round of applause. Good evening, Westchester. So I want to introduce some friends that I decided to invite to New York. Ladies and gentlemen, the California Attorney General, Rob Bonta. The Illinois Attorney General, Kwame Raoul. Minnesota Attorney General, Keith Ellison. And my partner, my closest partner in New Jersey Attorney General Matt Plackett. And a round of applause because Matt's parents are here. Yay! And we are joined by a number of local elected officials from the greater Westchester area. Congressmember George Latimer, White Plains Mayor Tom Roach, Mount Vernon Mayor Sean Patterson Howard, a number of Westchester County legislators, and of course I want to give a shout out to our Senate Majority Leader Andrea Stewart Cousins. Yeah. And your local assembly members and senators who could not make it today as they finalized the state budget, and I thank them. We've got a full house tonight. And yes, we do. And so I know that you have come from all over the state, and I thank you for that. I also want to thank SUNY for hosting us tonight. A round of applause. So this is a community impact hearing, and we've been holding them all over the country. And this is the latest in a series of hearings around the country hosted by my fellow attorneys general. And these meetings are really an opportunity for us to hear directly from you, from our constituents, to frame our litigation on the issues that you are experiencing in your lives as a result of executive orders and as a result of actions taken by the federal government. We've been, unfortunately, living in a lot of chaos, confusion, and it's really critically important that we get a sense of actually what is happening on the ground. And I have been working with a coalition of Democratic state attorneys general, including those with me today, to defend our Constitution, the rule of law, and to protect our rights. As a coalition of attorneys general, we've been busy. We've filed lawsuits and amicus briefs to stand up for Social Security, child care providers, veterans, members of the LGBTQ community, Meals on Wheels, Head Start, immigrants, healthcare services, 9/11 first responders, teachers, students, university, scientists, and reproductive rights. Since taking office, we have collectively filed 18 lawsuits and a number of amicus briefs, and we have successfully blocked some of the administration's most harmful initiatives, which is why they're coming after me. This includes safeguarding birthright citizenship, stopping Doge and Elon Musk from accessing your sensitive information like your social security numbers and your addresses, as well as preserving access and funding for education and health care and the right to free and fair elections. As the Attorney General, I have also provided guidance to companies, to small businesses, to houses of worship, to farmers, to advocates, and the list goes on. We've also been fighting the administration against attacks on Social Security, including the looming closure of the White Plains Social Security office. Everyone up here is proud to defend Social Security, and we will always stand firm to protect the promise that our seniors have earned and they are entitled to. It would take all night to highlight every case that we are taking on, but that's not why we are here. We're gathered here to hear from all of you. Your testimonies will help us sharpen, again, our litigation and our fight to continue to protect Social Security, Head Start, Medicaid, and funding for schools and health care. These are not partisan issues. These are not Democratic or Republican issues. These are issues, obviously, that all of you care about, and they are critical that millions of families rely upon. In fact, just 2 days ago, we were able to unfreeze $1 billion to the state of New York in educational grants. And that is why we collectively have been using the resources in our office to stand up for what is right and to fight back and to protect your rights. Because of all of you who believe in the promise of America, who believe, obviously, that we should live in a society where all of us are respected and that's built on a democratic society, which is foundational to everything that I believe in. It's really important that we speak out and that we come out and that we tell you exactly what we're doing. The choice is very clear. Either we fight for our democracy, my friends, or we lose it. It's tyranny or oligarchy. And I refuse to accept either option. And I will not sit idly by and allow them to trample on your rights. You elected me to stand up and defend the Constitution and the rule of law, not to protect and defend a king. And as a result of that, each and every day I march into the office of the New York State Attorney General, and we respond, obviously, to the harms that affect all of your lives. For us to prevail, my friends, it will take the efforts of everyone in this room, elected officials and public servants and private citizens, all of us pulling in the same direction, fighting to uphold our rights and our freedom, unflinching, relentless, and fearless. And we have a lot to discuss today, and so I basically want to get to all of you. But before we do that, allow me to introduce and invite to the podium some of my friends. They're in alphabetical order. So I'd like to invite my friend, Attorney General Rob Bonta, who joined us all the way from California to share a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Tish, and good evening, New York. How are you tonight? It is so wonderful to be here. I wanted to come from the other coast to show my commitment to all of you, to us, to my fellow Americans, to our shared society, to our common future. And it was very important that I be present with you and with my incredible fellow attorneys general. So I want to say thank you for the opportunity to be here. Let me give it up to my friend and great colleague, Attorney General Tish James, and her staff for putting together this incredible event, this important gathering. You don't need me to tell you how fortunate you are to have Tish James. You're going to hear a lot of compliments about Tish James in the next 20 minutes. All deserved and rightfully so. We're proud to have such a fierce and fearless and courageous leader as a colleague. New York is lucky to have her. And I'm not just saying that because I'm on your home court, her home court. She has shown by her actions and her commitment and her passion and her courage what she stands for and who she'll fight for. And she will fight for you every day. And I want to say this, I'm a little newer to this group of AGs. I joined these distinguished ranks 4 years ago. And when I did, I got a call from the incredible Tish James. I was a little fanboying when she called. Excited to hear directly from Tish James, who I watched with great admiration and respect on MSNBC and CNN. And she reached out and she said, hey, Attorney General Bonta, Rob, the guy before you and I, we had a really important role during Trump 1.0. We, in our view, served as the bookends defending democracy, fighting for the people, defending the rule of law and the Constitution. And she said, I have a question for you. Would you like to be a bookend defending democracy? She must have been a great attorney in court with her cross-examinations, because, yes, Tish, I want to be a bookend defending democracy. I'm all in. Let's go. Let's do this. And it was also a reminder of the weight of our work, the responsibility that we have, the reliance that the people that we are so lucky to represent have on us and what they demand and want us to do. So I'm grateful to be able to say, from New York to California, Illinois, New Jersey, Minnesota, we are here coast to coast, locked arms, fighting together side by side for you, for our democracy, for our future. And that's what's on full display tonight. And the attorneys general have a very important role, as you know. We are able to go into court, meet the Trump administration when they've done something unlawful and hurt you, our people, and stop them from inflicting that pain and engaging in that unlawful conduct. We're grateful for that role, but I also want to say this is an all-hands-on-deck moment. Everyone needs to step it up, rise to the occasion, meet the moment, and everyone, bar none, has a role. Everyone can do something, from our local county offices to the state legislature to everyday people who have the most important power that there is, people power. We all have that role. And so this moment demands more of us, and I want to respectfully ask you to do what the AGs are doing as well, digging deeper, demanding more, working harder. There's always a little more we can do to fight for our democracy and ensure that we secure the future that we deserve. And so I want to say thank you for being here. There's a lot of places you could be. You have important jobs, you have important roles, you have families, you have communities relying on you, and of all the places you decided to be here, engaged, committed, fighting for our future and our democracy. And so I want to say thank you for that. Thank you for being here. That's powerful, and that's inspiring to me. Now, the first 15 weeks of the Trump administration, and yes, it's only been 15 weeks. It's been a very long and a very short 15 weeks. They've been chaotic, they've been challenging, to say the least. President Trump has repeatedly broken the law. He is a repeat offender when it comes to breaking the law. He has violated the U.S. Constitution. He has blown past our checks and our balances, undermined Congress and the U.S. Supreme Court, co-equal branches of government, in his effort to usurp more power and more authority that he does not have, that the Constitution prohibits him from having. And it is easy to, I want to recognize, to become exhausted, to be demoralized, maybe even hopeless. And when you feel that way, I implore you and I urge you, please stay engaged. It's easy to want to turn off the TV, to turn away. If you turn off the TV and turn away, the problems don't go away. They're still there. We must confront them. We must face our problems to fix our problems. And so we need you in this movement. And I'll tell you two quick stories about why I know we need you. One, my dad was involved in the civil rights movement. He marched in Selma, Alabama. He organized for civil rights. He organized for voting rights. He was part of one of the greatest movements that moved us closer to being a more perfect union. And later, when I grew up, my parents worked for the United Farm Workers of America. My dad worked in the front office for Cesar Chavez, my mom with Dolores Huerta. And they were part of a group that fought for the people feeding our state and feeding our nation, and said they deserve more dignity, more respect, a fair contract, fair and safe working conditions. And my parents were everyday people, no fancy titles, no powerful positions, joined with other everyday people to fight for what's right. And they were able to make a transformational difference in the lives of our farm workers. And so we're in that moment now, where we all have to ask ourselves, what are we going to do next? And when we put us and we over I and me, when we focus on our shared society, our common future, on what we can do together, there's nothing that we can't do. And so I want to say thank you for being here, for being in this fight. Our attorneys general, I believe, are the first and last line of defense. We will continue to fight. We have made a promise. Each and every time this president breaks the law and hurts our people, we will take him to court, and we will stop him. That is our commitment to you. So let's stay engaged, let's stay enraged about these blatant violations of our laws and our Constitution. We ought not feel hopeless because we are not helpless. We do have power, we do have agency. There's a lot of chapters left to be written in the story of this great nation. And it is we, the people, who are going to write them. You and me, us. In a government of, for, and by the people. The bosses of Mr. Trump are not his billionaire buddies or greedy corporations. His bosses are you and me and us. So as we look ahead, as I look ahead, thank you. We know democracy is not a spectator sport. We got to get in the game, and it's a contact sport, sometimes full contact. Democracy thrives with participation and engagement, and it dies in the dark when people are apathetic and not engaged. And so you are the answer. You're the antidote to that. You're engaged. You're participating. You're fighting for our future. And as I look ahead, I'm optimistic, and I'm hopeful, but I am not naive. The next 4 years, they're going to be tough. They're going to be challenging. But I know there's nothing that we can't overcome if we fight together, as long as we continue to put fact over fiction, belonging over blame, unity over division, as long as we continue to fight for our democracy together. I feel hopeful that we will prevail. So please know, we understand that no one is above the law. That includes, yes, the President of the United States. He must follow the Constitution and follow the law. And I have great inspiration and hope knowing that you will fight, that the people will fight. And please know that I and these incredible attorneys general and the 23 Democratic attorneys general that are fighting every day for you will be right by your side. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm sure you've heard we have a Pope from Chicago. Pope Leo. Well, the next voice is someone who is from Chicago. He represents the great state of Illinois. Ladies and gentlemen, Attorney General Kwame Raoul.
Kwame.
Good evening, New York. You all have a fabulous Attorney General. Now, I have fabulous colleagues that I get to see several times a week. You know, we spend a lot of time with one another. And Rob was talking about sports, and it's fitting that we're in a gymnasium. And yes, I do claim responsibility for our new Pope.
You're welcome.
Was born in the Chicago area, taught on the south side of Chicago. And I'm jealous of these folks up here, because as I look at the folks up here, I see Rob from California, who has the Golden State Warriors still in the playoffs, playing against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And both Matt and Tish are New York Knicks fans. And the Bulls lost in the play-in game, you know? But while I lay claim to the Pope, Jalen Brunson played his high school ball in Chicago. So I take credit for the Knicks beating the Celtics. No, in all seriousness, it's very warming to see you all here. I'm not here to speak to you. I'm here to hear from you. I just want to share why I became a lawyer. I became a lawyer to be a voice for others and to uphold the rule of law. And when I became a lawyer, I had to hold my right hand up and swear to uphold the laws and the Constitution of the United States and my state, and I've been trying to do so in my 32 years of practicing as a lawyer. And I have a daughter in law school right now. Yeah. And so for me, it's personal that we have a president right now who did the same thing, held his right hand up and said he would uphold the Constitution. And when I have a daughter that will hopefully do the same thing next year when she graduates from law school and passes the bar, I want her to know that it means something. But it's hard for people to believe that it means something, either when they become a lawyer or some sort of elected official, when you have a president who disregards the Constitution and disregards the rule of law, and then tries to use as an excuse, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know if people deserve due process. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know whether I'm going to follow the Constitution. No, you can't do that. You cannot do that. So it is personal for me. It's been personal for me from one of our first lawsuits, birthright citizenship, because, ladies and gentlemen, I was born to Haitian immigrants, and my mother was not yet a citizen when I was born. And when we came together to fight the president's efforts to undermine funding to NIH, funding that goes towards research for cancer, to diagnose and to come up with new treatments for cancer, it's personal for me because I'm a cancer survivor. So these fights, yes, it's my duty because I've pledged to uphold my office, but it's also personal. It's personal because these actions are harming people. And I am so lucky. I am so lucky to be in the trenches with these attorneys general and 18 other attorneys general. We're working collectively. We are fighting. And we're kicking ass in the courtroom. But we often get to question, well, what happens when you win and what happens when you win all the way and he still disregards it? That's where you all come in. That's where you, the people, come in. We need you in the trenches with us. We need to all collectively come together and use our voices to fight against tyranny and to fight against a type of authoritarian, I don't want to call it leadership.
Impulses.
Impulses that guy in the White House has. Thank you all so much. I'm going to sit down and listen.
Yeah. He's a social justice warrior, former Congress member. He represents the great state of Minnesota. Ladies and gentlemen, Keith Ellison.
You did it, man. Hey, New York, how you guys doing out there? What a pleasure. Let me just tell you, you all know Tish James because she can rock the microphone. She can inspire people, doesn't she? Chris goes, now let me tell you, Tish goes in front of a lot of people and she can get people up on their feet, pounding, shouting. I love to hear it. She pumps me up. But here's what you may not know. Some of y'all know, but not everybody will know. When she's in the little meetings with us, she knows every legal theory that we're working on. She's read the briefs. She knows the small parts. She gets up in the weeds. So yeah, she can bring it. But she also is a true legal scholar. It feels like law school talking to Tish. Bless you, Tish. Thank you for being all that you are. We love you. And she loves you, and we can tell every single meeting. We can tell. We can feel it. I want you to know that we're here together up on the stage like this, and we've been here in groups in Arizona, in Minnesota. We've been here in Oregon and Colorado. We're here in New York now. We're going to be going to Virginia. We got plans for several other states. We're here together. We're here together, several of us, because we want to show you that we're working together. We want you to know that this is a moment for unity. This is when we got to come together because strength in numbers, right? They might be the money, but we are the many. And we can overcome them if we stick together. And so as we are partners, we want partnership with you. Y'all want to be partners with us? We want to be partners together because let me tell you, friends, as much as we are kicking ass in the courtroom, at the end of the day, American democracy will not be saved in a court of law. It will be in a court of public opinion. It will be because the American people love our democracy, warts and all, and we're here to defend it. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. So we need you to stay and keep coming to meetings like this. Go to those rallies. I hear that on June 14th, they're going to have No King's Day. Y'all know about No King's Day? Okay, on June what? 14th. June what? 14th. I didn't quite hear you, wasn't that? Okay, there you go. June 14th, we need everybody to show up somewhere. If your knees are bad and you can't march, then get on the Zoom call. Go to your neighbor group. You don't have to go to the big thing. You can go to a smaller thing. But we've got to show up and we got to show out and we got to signal to this guy that we're not going to let him snatch our democracy away. So let me say that that here's the thing. Everything Trump is doing, he could do if he did it legally. Even birthright citizenship. You can change the Constitution. It's not that easy, but you can do it. He could try to abolish the Department of Education if he brought a bill in the House and in the Senate, had a debate. We'll see how it works out, because the American people kind of like education. He could try to destroy NPR and public broadcasting and Big Bird, but maybe he wouldn't get very far if he did it legally. So he's trying to do it illegally. And guess what? He's trying to collapse the legislative power and the judicial power all into him, and that is what kings do. Vladimir would be very proud of what he's trying to do. I'm telling you, this is not how we do things in this country, and we can't stand for it, and we will not stand for it. And I just want you to know, as I wrap, there's a rumor going around. So let me tell you, I'm from Minnesota. When George Floyd was calling for his mother under the knee of Derek Chauvin, when George Floyd was begging for a breath, and then still under those knees, he went silent and he lost his life. A year later, those heroic people who whipped out their cell phones, 17-year-old girl named Darnella Frazier, those people came back a year later, and through their tears, they got up on the witness stand and they testified as to what they saw. And my office led that prosecution, but it was those people who showed up to testify as what they saw who are the real heroes. And it was a lot of them, y'all, and I'm going to sit down, but I want you to know a lot of them were police officers too. And it's not easy for a police officer to say, I am not with that. I am not going to alibi that bad behavior. And our police department is better off because they would not tolerate Derek Chauvin. And I just want to let you know that there's a rumor going around that Trump is talking about pardoning him. And I want you to know that I don't know if he is or if he's not. But if he does, we convicted him on state charges and he ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere. Derek Chauvin owes me 22 and a half years, and we will get them. No matter what happens with those federal charges, I can't control that, but I want you to know that you can rest assured he's going to do that state time. And so as I go to my seat, I just want to let you know that we are your partners. We love you. We need you. And we need you to tell your stories, which many people are about to do now. And we also, some of you all are in mental health, or your clergy, or your social workers. We need you to help us figure out how to get through this anxious, nerve-wracking times we're in. Some of you all are artists. We need you to write a poem about what we're going through right now. What about a poetry slam for democracy? What do you think about that? We need, if you can sing. If you can write a song. We can litigate, so we're litigating. Y'all legislators legislate, but we got to do whatever we can do to protect this democracy and make it better than ever. Thank you.
Before I call my last colleague, I'd like the Congress member to come and give us some remarks. He came all the way from Washington, D.C. Your Congress member, George Latimer. And while he's coming to the stage, allow me to introduce my political mother, the former Assemblywoman Annette Robinson.
Thank you, Madam Attorney General. I just came from Washington, where today we tackled one of the most important issues to face America, the renaming of the Gulf of Mexico, the Gulf of America. So I am here, Madam Attorney General, my friend, and to my colleagues and friends who are Attorney Generals of other states. Brother Ellison was a member of the House of Representatives. He knows just what it's like to be down there. I cannot tell you how important their work is. What they are doing is essential to stopping the authoritarian movement in this country. That deserves a round of applause. Our Attorney General, Tish James, has shown bravery. And you see what bravery gets. When you step forward, they want to get you. And they come up with any reason to try to get you. Tish, these people love you. We're with you all the way. All the way. Hakeem Jeffries, who heads the Democratic Conference and will be the next Speaker of the House of Representatives. That's right. He is leading us in the ways that as legislators in the minority we can frame these issues. But right now, we have to be in court. We have to be in federal court and state court. And I'm not a lawyer, but I understand that the judiciary, the third branch of government, is essential for us stopping what's happening now. And I repeat that we have brave individuals who are state attorney generals who are not afraid to take on the federal government. And they want to rattle the saber in New York, in California, Minnesota, New Jersey. You know, they want us to be red states. We're not red states, baby. We're different. I like it. And I leave the way I opened it up. Gentlemen and ma'am, thank you so much for your leadership. And when I go back to Washington on Tuesday, I'm going to say I saw some of the bravest public officials I've seen in the nation, our state attorney generals.
Love you. Love you. Love you. So we meet often, and within our group, there's a principle known as the Platkin Principles. And the Platkin Principles go something like this. We're all unified and no one can separate us. And obviously, we have the first say as to whether or not an individual can join our litigation. And that suggestion was created by my colleague, my neighbor. He represents the great state of New Jersey. His parents are here. Where is the parents? Please stand. Give him a round of applause. Come on. That's great. He's from New Jersey, but they're from New York. Ladies and gentlemen, the Attorney General of New Jersey, Ned Platkin.
Good evening, New York. All right. Tish, I'm never going to live that down. So, all right. So I can't let my brother from Illinois steal my thunder. We got some Knicks fans in the house, right? Okay, so before I was the Attorney General of New Jersey, long before, I was Matt from Morristown calling into the fan overnights talking about the Knicks, which is 100% true. So I've been dying to do this all my life, and you're never going to hear this out of a Jersey boy ever, but can I hear you say, "Go New York, go New York, go"? I want him to hear him in Boston. Go New York, go New York, go. Thank you for making my dream come true right now. All right, listen, I'm going to be brief because I want to hear from you. But first of all, I have to thank all of my colleagues, and most importantly, my friend who she once publicly referred to as my work wife. My own wife did not even dispute it. Tish James, let me say something. When you look up fearless in the dictionary, you see Tish James's picture. And the thing about Tish, and frankly all of my colleagues up here and across the country, and I say this genuinely, I know people don't believe it, but I want you to know it's true. There is no ego. There is no ego. When we are on the phone, there is one thing that drives her and drives all of us, and that is standing up to make sure you all are not hurt. We've done it against opioid companies that have caused an epidemic. We've done it against social media companies. We've done it against gun manufacturers who are killing people innocently in our communities. We've done it against people who pollute our environment. And yes, we have done it against a president who is acting like a king. Now, the rule of law is an abstract concept, and we've heard a lot about it over the course of the past several years. And even for me as an attorney who cares about these things, sometimes my eyes glaze over. But let me tell you, it wasn't abstract to the woman who called my office a Wednesday a couple months ago asking if her Medicaid card was going to be accepted when she went to the doctor. It wasn't abstract to the law enforcement officers who are going to lose their job because 1 week after Governor Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania's house was burned down because he was Jewish, this president unlawfully cut grants to cops to fight bias crimes. It was not abstract to the person getting clinical trials for Alzheimer's who isn't sure if those trials are going to continue. It's not abstract to the mother, and this is 100% true, who came to me crying because her son has autism, and she said, "Matt, there is one time of the day where I don't feel like I'm going to break down and crying. It's when I take him to school and I know he's getting the care he deserves." Well, this administration, against the law, cut that. Okay? And if it wasn't for the lawsuits that we have filed, that some of us are taking quite a bit of heat for, all of those things would have happened. And so when we talk about standing up for the rule of law, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about real things that matter to real people. And you know, they're making a very cynical bet. Okay? You got to be aware of this. They're making a very cynical bet, and the bet is very simple. That he can do so many things so fast that you can't keep up, and ultimately, you don't care. That's what he's betting, that you don't care. So when you show up like you're showing up tonight, when you stand up, when you speak out, you're showing him that that bet is wrong.
Right.
And I promise you, I believe, I want to hear from you. Do you care?
Yes.
Do you care about our democracy?
Yes.
Do you care about the rule of law? Well, then I promise you, as long as you keep caring and you keep showing up and you keep speaking out and you keep telling us the harms that you're seeing, the folks up here, myself and my colleagues across the country will keep fighting for you. Thank you, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you. And now we're going to turn it over to Wayne Collins so that we can hear from all of you. Wayne?
I would like to call to the microphone our first testifier, the amazing Corey Skipper Miller, accompanied by his beautiful mother, Keisha.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
right.
I'm sorry, I said good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening, Corey.
My name is Corey Skipper Miller. I am 9 years old and a 4th grader at Yonkers Montessori Academy. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Keisha Skipper's son. My mom is the president of the Yonkers NAACP, but that's not why I'm here today. She usually speaks at these types of events, but I wanted to represent the youth because what's happening now could change our futures. And what President Trump is doing and is threatening to do is frightening.
Wow.
Parents and teachers are talking about a lot of things that we don't know about. But unlike some people, we know the meaning of the Declaration of Independence.
Oh, woo!
Come on, we all saw the video talking about low IQ.
He's funny, baby.
All jokes aside, as you can see, my mom is oxygen dependent, as she has been for more than 5 years due to COVID pneumonia in both lungs since March of 2020. And without Social Security, my mom and I would not be able to survive. My grandmother, who is turning 98 years old on May 15th, would not be able to survive. My brother Kyle, who is a Marine, when he becomes a veteran, he is entitled to veteran benefits. And without those, he wouldn't be able to survive. Cuts to Social Security, cuts to Medicaid, cuts to veteran benefits, and cuts to education hurt my mom, my grandmother, my brother, and me, my whole family. So I'm asking you, and especially you, Miss Tish, because we in New York, what can you do to help me? I know you're all lawyers, right? I know you fight. Just keep fighting. Thank you all for your time.
Way to go, kiddo.
Corey, yes. Corey, what office are you running for? Have you, Attorney General? No? Corey, I'm so incredibly proud of you. All of us up here are incredibly proud of you. Thank you for standing up for your family. Thank you for standing up for what is right. Thank you for recognizing at this moment of time, you know, this administration represents an existential threat to everything that you believe in and that we believe in. So we are incredibly proud of you, and we're going to do everything in our power to continue to fight on because of you and your family. God bless you and thank you.
Please welcome to the microphone Thomas Hart.
Good evening. Corey, great job, buddy. And for all of you that are thinking about representing him, he's mine. I'm his campaign manager. So you have to come for me. I cleared that with Mom before we got started. You're quite a young man. Keep up the great work. You spoke of the most important value that we have, and that's family.
That's right.
And that's what makes this country great, the values that we instill in our family and our children, and how we bring them to the world. And you're a bright, shining star for this country.
That's right.
Keep up your good work, my friend. Good evening.
Good evening.
It's an honor to be here before you. We talked about glass ceilings. Our friendship has gone back many years. It goes back to the Hillary Clinton days. I'd like to thank you. You got some pretty cool friends. Guys, I'm invigorated. My name is Tom Hart. I'm the president of Local 94, the operating engineers in New York City.
Woo!
Thank you. I also serve on the Citizens for the Zadroga Act. All right, what do? We take care of our heroes, the folks that showed up, the folks that answered the bell in the darkest days that we've seen on our soil since the Civil War. Mm-hmm. What's going on today, and again, I'm throwing my notes out. I do this when I go to Washington, and we will be there Tuesday. Where's the congressman? Join us. We're coming down. There's a meeting. Mr. Kennedy is going to go on the record. He's going before the Help Committee, and we're going to go kind of stir things up. So what we do, we take care of people that took care of us. I was a first responder. I've been there since day one. I've advocated since day one. I've advocated with Trish. She's a friend. Every time I see her, what I tell you, I'm proud of you, right?
Right.
The woman has amazing courage and fortitude. Stand up for what's right. I will always be the wind beneath your wings, dear. You just keep fighting. You know that the operating engineers, we've been together, the AFL, everywhere you go, I'm there, and we love what you do.
Thank you.
But more importantly, what we have to do is what we're doing. This isn't a community meeting. This is a damn rally. I'm fired up, man. I'm fired up. She knows I get like the Tasmanian devil.
Yes, you do.
She never knows what I'm going to do or what I'm going to say. But truly, this is invigorating. This is what it's about. We need to stand up. What's going on for our first responders? We've had issue after issue. We're used to it for 24 years, going on 25 years. Everything we've done has been a fight. We had funding. We had bipartisanship funding in December. We had the funding that we needed to keep those people safe and get them the health and the treatment that they need. Come January, we get a new administration, gone. All right, we've had 5 different setbacks since he took office. 5. Dr. John Howard, I know him 23 years, he came on. We had nothing but mass confusion. We were in hell. We went down there every day in hell, picking up body parts, putting them in a bag, cleaning up, so that the rest of the world didn't have to see our scars. John Howard came in and took chaos, complete and utter chaos, and made one of the finest systems known to man. He hired some of the finest doctors in the world to stand up for these people and give them what they need, give them everything that they need. And in one swipe, John Howard and NIOSH was destroyed last month. What did that mean? That meant, for 1 month, the healthcare program for 9/11 in the World Trade Center went out of control. People that were getting sick couldn't get approved, couldn't get written appointments. Okay? For over a month now, we finally, through pressure, it's a battle. It's harder today than it was day one. But I'm happy to report that John Howard is back. He's a man of great integrity. He's incredible. And everybody that works for him in NIOSH and throughout the organization for the World Trade Center program are incredible human beings. It's not a job to us anymore. It's a passion. It's a belief. It's a commitment. It's a commitment to our heroes. We all say we never forget, and my local will never forget. We lost members. I have members that, mental health issues, different things. What you don't realize, many people have moved on. When we say we never forget, those of us that were there, those of us that are involved, those of us that represent the people that were there, you can't forget. Because today they're still sick. They're still dying. We buried a fireman a couple of weeks ago. We testified. My colleagues from the fire department couldn't be there because I had to go bury one of the first responders that fought a long and tough fight. So, what do we need to do? We need to stand behind these folks because they have the courage to do what needs to be done. Stand up. I'm not a lawyer. Tried that. Too much reading. Too many rules. If you're a labor leader, you know what I mean. No, but everybody has a place. And what's going to make this country great again is if we start with one concept: respect.
That's right.
Respect. We can have a difference of opinion. I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, Communist. I don't care. But when you come to that table, you treat me with respect, or get out of my way, because I'm coming through you. They show the courage to do so. So let them know. Tuesday, we will be in Washington. We'll be on the steps. You'll get an invitation. Ben Shavat. You know him? I know you know him well. He's a pit bull. He's the one who motivates me. He asked me to be here. I'm honored. Thank you. Continue to do what you do, and God bless each and every one of you.
Thank you. So 2 days ago, we filed a lawsuit against Mr. Kennedy and HHS because the 9/11 healthcare fund, the healthcare program was eliminated. And I want all of you to know there's this notion that it was restored, and it was, but it's only temporary. And that's why we have to continue to do our work. Those heroes went into those buildings when others were running out, and we owe them a debt of gratitude. We owe them a debt of gratitude. Because each and every day, individuals are being diagnosed with cancer as a result of 9/11. And we made a promise to them to never forget. Tom, you got me fired up. I was trying to be cool tonight. And we will not stop until all of those programs, the 9/11 Health Fund, Head Start, lead poisoning, reproductive rights, veterans programs, Meals on Wheels, all of those programs that you rely upon are restored and are not on a temporary basis. We will not stop. Anybody else? Okay.
Yes, my question is for Tush James. Will you apologize to President Trump for wasting millions of dollars and the state of New York for a witch trial? And how does it feel to know that you will be in prison for mortgage fraud?
Thank you for coming. We want to thank him for coming. We respect all opinions. Everybody knows those allegations are baseless. They're discredited. And so we want to thank him. Our next speaker.
Please welcome to the microphone Allison Lake.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to speak with you. My name is Allison Lake. I'm the Executive Director of Westchester Children's Association. Thank you, thank you. We are a multi-issue advocacy organization based here in Westchester County. I'm speaking tonight on behalf of the 1,500 or so families here in our county that access early Head Start and Head Start programs. I'm here tonight on behalf of the 1 in 10 children in our county that live in poverty, and the 1 in 5 almost children in New York State that live in poverty. The Head Start program is a vital program to community and families. Here in Westchester County, we have not gotten back to the same number of slots and access that we had pre-COVID. My organization, Westchester Children's Association, has convened a work group made up of Head Start providers, some of our county legislators, funders, and advocates, all concerned about the vital program of Head Start. We all heard from our future, I don't know what, elected official, and guess what? He went to Head Start. We have convened our work group, as I said, for the past 2 years to understand the landscape better and the challenges that Head Start programs face. They face challenges around licensing and workforce retention, not unlike all child care programs I think you probably will hear across this country. But the potential threat from the federal government to do away with this vital program could be devastating to our communities. Head Start is an essential program for low-income children and families. It prepares children to be school and kindergarten ready, but also assists families with wraparound services and support. What makes Head Start unique from pre-K programs or child care programs is the access to low-income families, children who are in the foster care system, families who are experiencing homelessness, are accessing SNAP and other programs. So these are our most vulnerable programs in children, families and children that need this program. It also provides support, and this is what I think is unique, for their parents around job support or housing, parent education, so it really supports the whole family. I mentioned that we have here 1,500 or so families that access it, but there are many communities here in Westchester, just up and down the road, Mamaroneck, New Rochelle, Ossining, Tarrytown, communities that don't have access and Head Start programs. We also know that just looking at income eligibility, only 18% of income-eligible families are accessing Head Start currently. So now is not the time to downsize or to cut this program. If anything, we know as we are heading into this very difficult sort of economic landscape that families need support to be able to go to work and to thrive. Research tells us investing early in a child's life is the best investment any of us can make. On behalf of the child advocates, we are here to work with you and want to do whatever we can to guarantee this vital program. Thank you.
Thank you so much. In the lawsuit that we filed 2 days ago, again, we included Head Start. We're seeking a preliminary injunction. We'll be filing that probably tomorrow. We recognize the importance of early intervention and investing in children early. We also recognize that it's really critically important that those children have wraparound services as well. And so we thank all of the advocates. We thank you for standing up. And we should not be cutting programs, obviously, to provide a tax cut for the rich. We should be supporting these children, supporting education, preparing them for the future. And so I thank you. I really appreciate it.
Tish, can I make just a quick observation? So for the little ones, they're cutting Head Start. For the older ones, they're going after colleges and saying you can't have DEI in college. For the folks who want to learn through a museum or a library, he's trying to cut that. If you want to learn by looking at PBS or NPR, he's trying to cut that. Why is this man trying to cut off all the ways that we, the people, can learn stuff? He's trying to dumb down this country because he knows knowledge is power, and we are not going to sit back for it. So look at it as a whole thing. Yeah. That's right. Somebody said it's key to democracy, right?
Yes.
Right.
That's why they want to eliminate NPR and PBS.
Yep.
It's really critically important that we stand up for our democracy. This is not the time to lose it. And it's important that we all stand in this together, shoulder to shoulder, arm in arm, with no space between us, and not allow individuals, obviously, to distract us. And so I thank all of you again.
Please welcome to the microphone James Colicchio.
Attorney General James, thank you for your opportunity to make a presentation about advocacy for disabled veterans. My name is James Frank Colicchio. My name is James Frank Colicchio. I'm from Staten Island. I'm a veteran direct care independent living specialist employed by the Center of Independence of the Disabled of New York, also known as Sydney, a nonprofit organization with offices in all 5 boroughs of New York, which in 2024 provided services to over 42,000 people with disabilities. One of the groups we service are disabled veterans. I'm a U.S. Navy veteran, and I served during the Second Gulf War. My rate in the Navy was an operations specialist. My father was a boiler technician in the Navy, and he did 3 tours in Vietnam. Wow. And my dad sadly passed away from Agent Orange. Sorry. So, it was his service that made me want to serve my country. So in 1999, I decided to follow in my father's footsteps and serve our country in the Navy. In my experience, I learned that serving in the armed forces develops and strengthens many skill sets: leadership skills, tact, morale, honor, and camaraderie, just to name a few. After my service, I became a diesel engine technician, which was my profession for 20 years. Over those 20 years, I communicated with veterans like me and understood the many struggles they have endured. As a result of that experience, I developed a strong desire to change policy to help them in their struggles. So I decided to go back to college and focus on learning the law to give myself the proper skills to make a difference in this country's policies and to understand how to make changes that will positively impact our lives of our veterans. After graduation, I was given the opportunity to become a veteran direct care independent living specialist working for Sydney. I was excited knowing that Sydney worked in collaboration with programs that the VA provides for our veterans. One of those programs is the Veterans Direct Care Program. I have worked alongside Sydney and the VA since the beginning of the Veteran Direct Care Program. I assure you, our federal policies are affecting both my job and clients who greatly depend on this assistance through the VA. I think it's egregious and disheartening to tamper with the policies that are affecting most of our veterans, our disabled veterans. Most of our older veterans who at least we forget were drafted. These men and women didn't have the support that we have today for our veterans. One of the key programs is the Veteran Direct Care Program. This program allows vets to get a budget, hire their own caregivers, choose their own doctors, and make their own health and life decisions. Our role at Sydney and my job as a specialist is to manage the vet's finances and assist them in making decisions. Our veterans count on this program and others associated programs to help them live more independently and make them feel like they're a person again. Caregiving services are the pinnacle of this program because the caregivers are the backbone of taking care of our veterans who suffer from PTSD, being blind, unable to walk, unable to groom themselves, unable to cook for themselves, unable to use facilities by themselves, just to name a few the tasks that the caregivers assist disabled veterans with. What concerns me now, with all the talk of cuts, is whether I will still have a job to fight for my fellow veterans. If the federal government pulls the grants which fund this program, not only will I be out of a job, but my brethren will be without caregivers to care for them in their time of need, and the caregivers will also become unemployed. This grant offers veterans not only caregiving services to assist the veteran with activities of daily living, but it also adds goods and services that are provided to the veterans, such as walk-in showers, lift assist recliners, air conditioning units to keep them cool in summer, travel expenses, and just to name a few. Additionally, there are other services outside the VDC that New York State offers for veterans, especially there's a Veterans Blind Annuity Fund. You have the VTA award for veterans that want to better themselves for higher education, the VTA award, just to name a few. Additionally, there are other services outside the VDC that veterans utilize, such with wheelchair ramps that are paid for by the VA, which most veterans use. Veterans rely on the VA to assist them with all of their disabilities. The elimination of programs like this one I assist the veterans with is egregious. I personally believe it is my responsibility and duty to speak upon this matter because we don't have enough veterans to advocate for each other, and there is no time like the present.
I want to thank you for your testimony. We have not seen as of yet any executive order targeted at the Veterans Agency as of yet. In HHS, there was some veterans programs that were cut, and those programs are included in our litigation against HHS. We will keep our eye out and respond to any cuts to the veterans, because obviously you have stood for us, and therefore we owe you a debt of gratitude. I want to thank you for what you do. I want to make sure you keep your job. You assist veterans each and every day, those who are disabled. You truly are a hero, and I thank you so much for coming and testifying. Anyone else? Okay.
Please welcome Vladimir Martinez to the microphone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Vladimir Martinez. I'm not quite the orator that Corey is, so I'm going to stick to my prepared remarks tonight. I am here on behalf of the Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, and Transgender Community Center in New York City. Thank you. Lovingly known by many as simply the Center, where I work as Director of Policy and Government Affairs. Thank you, Attorney General James, for convening us tonight, for your long-standing friendship with the Center, and for the opportunity to draw much-needed attention to the precarious moment facing LGBTQ+ people in New York and across the country, particularly in light of recent and ongoing federal actions that threaten to destabilize the delicate social safety networks that our communities depend on. Thank you, Attorneys General Bonta, Raul, Ellison, and Platkin for your partnership tonight. Undoubtedly, the fate of our communities in every state is linked to one another, and the challenges we face are shared with community partners across the country. The Center was founded in 1983 in response to the AIDS epidemic, ensuring a place for LGBT people to access information, care, and support they were not receiving elsewhere. Today, we are the largest LGBTQ+ multi-service organization on the East Coast. We see thousands of weekly visitors and host over 400 community group meetings every month. Here are the facts. Resulting from funding cuts that have been either proposed or enacted by the Trump administration since January of this year, the Center is at risk of losing approximately $2.1 million in federal funding from our annual operating budget, representing a very consequential 12% loss. That means we could lose critically needed services critically needed dollars, that currently support HIV and Hep C testing, particularly for BIPOC, trans, and gender nonconforming community members, culturally competent substance use treatment and prevention counseling, mental health counseling, especially for LGBTQ youth, school-aged youth and their families, direct care for victims of crimes, and health insurance navigation for eligible New Yorkers. These services are urgently needed in our communities, and the Center is committed to keeping our doors open. And we are fighting back. In February, the Center joined 8 other LGBTQ, health, and HIV organizations in suing the Trump administration, led by Lambda Legal, thank you, challenging recent executive orders that seek to dehumanize and erase transgender people from public life, terminate equity-related grants, and forbid federally funded entities from engaging in diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility programs, or from recognizing the existence of transgender people. The consistent attacks against LGBTQ advancements, and specifically against trans people, when considered alongside the widespread propagation of mis- and disinformation, present a dangerous political landscape for our community. So far this year, according to the ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union, 575 anti-LGBTQ bills have been circulating in 49 of 50 state legislative houses. Thank you, Vermont, for your allyship and not being horrible. Seeking to limit access to free speech, education, and healthcare for our communities. The moment is right now to stand with LGBTQ+ people by ensuring that we have the resources we need to lead successful lives and to contribute to our communities. We need good government at every level to continue to be in partnership with us and to not be in our way. Thank you very much.
I want to thank you. It's important that every community be treated with dignity, without discrimination. And I do know that all throughout, there's several states where they have banned gender-affirming care, and in some cases have even criminalized it. Not here in the state of New York. We see you, we respect you. I've been to the center. I've talked to young people who unfortunately have been rejected by their families, who simply want to be recognized as who they are. And so I appreciate you for being here. We have filed briefs, obviously, in support of your position, and we'll continue to do that. And we do it because we respect the humanity of all individuals.
If I could just say, you know, I just want to say, Vladimir, you know, the LGBTQ community cannot be the only ones fighting for the LGBTQ community. Those of us who might be, we've got to be in unity. Women cannot be the only ones fighting for reproductive rights and women's rights. People of color can't be the only ones fighting for racial justice. Those of us who are born here, we've got to stand with the immigrants and make sure that they get justice. We've got to, this is the moment for solidarity. Some of us are in unions. It cannot just be the union community fighting for fair justice on the job site. We've got to be in unity. And I just want to say that we have been real clear that we're not going to let the administration bully and persecute our transgender youth or community. You know, we've had to sue this guy because he's going to try to he's actually going after hospitals and clinics that do gender-affirming care. And so we're saying no to that. And so I just want everybody to know that the transgender community is like less than 1% of the population. Mm-hmm. There's a reason why he goes after them all the time. He goes after them because it is the essence of scapegoating and bullying. And don't let anybody, and you want to talk about transgender students participating in extracurriculars? In a small town in rural Minnesota, there's a kid named AJ, 11 years old. All she wants to do is be on the team. She's not even very good at volleyball. But she wants to just be on the team. And it occurred to me that when I left Minnesota and went to my hometown of Detroit a few weeks ago, who did I call? The kids I played high school football with. Those are the closest people when I go home. And they're the same for this transgender youth who just want to be with their friends participating. And let me just say this. If you compare the number of transgender athletes in Minnesota and my state, man, you ain't got, you only have about 6 of them. And they're trying to persecute 6 kids. I bet in New York, you know, you're way bigger than us. Maybe you have 20. But not many more than that. And so why are they picking on these kids? I just want to say there's way more than 20 transgender kids who've contemplated suicide in New York. There's way more than 5 or 6 transgender kids in Minnesota who've thought about ending their own life because the world is so cruel to them. So folks, don't let these people confuse you. You know, they keep on trying to conjure images of LeBron James playing on your 8th grade girls volleyball team. This is all lies. These are regular kids just trying to be kids.
Real quick, I want to just echo, you know, I got 2 young kids at home. I think, like there's a lot of parents in this room. I care a lot about my kids' safety, okay? There is a 0% chance, 0, that my kid is going to be hurt by the gender pronoun of his friend in his classroom. 0. You know what the biggest threat to my kids are?
Guns.
A gun. The same people who want to take funding away from our schools because of gender pronouns are trying to put a gun in every classroom in New Jersey, in New York, in Minnesota, in Illinois, in California, in every state in America. So don't let them define what it means to be someone who cares about kids' safety, because they don't. And they're not pushing things that care about kids' safety. They're not. And that's what we're standing up for.
That's great. I love it.
The objective is to dehumanize individuals, and then when you add misinformation and disinformation on top of that, You create individuals, obviously, who most people discredit, and we cannot do that because the LGBTQ community is joined with so many other communities right now, marginalized communities that are under attack, and we all have to stand together. Thank you. No.
There we go. So we have one more amazing testifier, but before we get to that testifier, we know that this is a town hall, and there are a bunch of folks that would like to ask questions. If you remember coming into the space, you got a lottery ticket, and we would like to pick some of those lottery tickets now for you to line up and ask a question after our final testifier is done. So without further ado, we will shake up this fishbowl. Drum roll, please.
Did I win anything?
Great. And once I call your number, you're going to come over here. After our final testifier, you'll line up behind them. But once I call your number, you'll come up behind this person. So our first question participant will be number 307046. Stand up. That's 307.
A lot of numbers.
Woo!
Oh.
Let's give her a round of applause, everybody. Our next lottery ticket is 301026. Stand up if you have that lottery ticket. 301026. We got it?
All right.
Woo! And our last, we'll pick one more ticket. Let's pick it. And we have 307033. Woo! If those folks can come over here and we will talk with you and make sure you're ready. Our next amazing testifier, Erica Ford.
Peace, everybody. Thank you all for doing this. My name is Erica Ford. I am the CEO of Life Camp Incorporated, a group in Southeast Queens, as well as the co-chair of the National Black and Brown Peace Consortium and the co-architect of the New York City Crisis Management System, which is the gun violence system that New York City uses to reduce violence and has been duplicated throughout the United States. When COVID hit, it wasn't just the virus, it was the premorbidities of heart disease, diabetes, and unequal access to health care that killed us. Today, we are facing another epidemic. We call it the Trump epidemic because it feels like a public health crisis, and it is. The cuts are infecting safety, healing, and community. And once again, it's the pre-existing conditions, poverty, that's killing us. Poverty rooted in 400 years of slavery, systematic redlining, land theft, over-policing, and disinvestment. Now, the cuts to the federal funding, especially from the Department of Justice, are ripping away the lifelines we've built to survive. Our people have had to rely on public support because wealth was stolen from us. And now those supports, grants that sustain mental health services, school-based violence prevention, and community safety programs are being wiped out. Over $811 million in the Department of Justice was wiped out under Trump, including $154 million from community violence intervention, prevention, and intervention programs, impacting 65 CVI grantees, 48 cities, and 25 states. 1 billion cuts from school mental health programs nationwide, grant terminations including and impacting over 50 cities through the general cut, serving Black and Brown, Indigenous, and under-resourced communities. We are the ones on the ground. Before the sirens, before the shots, we mediate, we prevent, we reduce prison populations, we stop recidivism. In the cities like New York and Baltimore, we have reduced shootings in some communities over 60%. And now we're being thanked with extinction. the human toll, what happens when programs disappear. More youth fall into cycles of violence. More trauma goes untreated. More funerals are held for young people who had promises, but no protection. These are not numbers, these are lives. In New York State, the devastation is measurable and immediate. For my organization, Life Camp, we lost $2 million in funding, cutting across the mental health support, youth employment, and direct violence mediation. We were not able to expand. We had to close our doors to a community because once we reduce violence in one community, we are not working in another target area, so we look to move to the other side, and now we can't. Another group that works with us, King of Kings, was cut $1.5 million. Last year, programs like ours helped reduce shootings in our target area 82%. Without continued investment, the progress we've made is not just stalled, it is the resist of being erased. Every dollar out is the loss of a mentor, the loss of a safe space, the loss of opportunities to stop violence before it starts. Our call to action is we need champions, champions like you, champions like how you stand for us every day, not just for social justice, but for humanity. Our children deserve to grow in joy, safety, and opportunity, not just to survive, but to thrive. We are asking you to take action in continuing your compassion and vision, to advocate not only to restore the funds, but as trusted stewards of justice, you have the power to convene, not just to prosecute, but to unite, imagine, bringing together community leaders, peace practice, police chiefs, judges, and business voices to co-create new pathways to safety, centered on empathy and healing and shared humanity. As you just said, it's time for us to come together. It's time to close the gap. We urge to help us move beyond silos into a new era of public safety that is built with people, not just for them. As trusted stewards, just as we ask you to help us steward connections and care, we want you to help us bring trusted community organizations and philanthropy leaders together who have shown commitment to equity and healing. People like Mackenzie Scott, Robert F. Smith, Julia Koch, Crystal Saka, and Robert Hoffman, just to name a few. The Rockefeller Foundation, the Ford Foundation, just to name a few. The summer is approaching. We must, with urgency, compassion, move to put oxygen masks back on these communities in crises, ensuring our children's experience safety, peace, and possibility, not just survival. As trusted stewards of justice, we need you to publicly endorse the federal Break the Cycle of Violence Act and use your influence to spotlight its urgency. Champion similar investments in your states, expanding trauma-informed care, and supporting the co-production of public safety through both law enforcement and community-based solutions. Issue legal guidance to affirm, protect, and legitimize CVI partnerships. Endorsing these essential programs remain fundamental to us being protected under state policy. We are resilient, but resiliency should not be the requirement for survival. We do not want the world to donate to our funerals. We want the world to donate to our lives. Together, we can be the human defibrillators and restart the hearts of this nation, pumping love, compassion, and possibility back into our communities. Thank you, and
Erica, so most of your program comes from the Department of Justice, CBI grants? What agency?
It's a mixture, but this the $2 million would be the largest in one place. Yes.
In DOJ?
No, don't give me the answer. I have a finance department, so I would not say that.
So Erica, let me just say this. You need to if you can get back to me with regards to where most of your funding comes from. What
I would say it probably, Haley, it comes from the city, right? Our CMS, most of it comes from the city, or?
Hi.
That's right, from the feds.
Okay.
Right, and so some of the individual organizations on top of the CMS pass-through got federal grants to expand.
Okay.
Because, you know, the situation is bigger than what the city can do.
So for those who do not know, this organization is an organization that basically interrupts violence all throughout the city of New York. And this young lady was championed, and her program was modeled all throughout the United States of America. In fact, President Biden brought her to the White House and said that all organizations should model what she is doing. And as a result of her work, violence has been reduced in parts of Southeast Queens, in parts of Brooklyn, all throughout the city of New York. I do know that in Chicago there is a similar model. And you also provide, it's trauma-informed care, and you provide individuals not only access to opportunity, but you also build them up and provide them on a trajectory where they obviously can get jobs and go to school, and they're not, unfortunately, statistics. And so I really want to thank you, and I need more information, and I will get more information from my team with respect to where your grants are. Does anyone else want to say anything?
Yeah. Erica, thank you. We connected a couple of years ago.
And that program, the CVILA, lost $2 million, and it only had a $4 million budget.
So, you know, I started my career as a prosecutor, and I was in juvenile court early in my career, and I worked both on the child protection and the delinquency side of juvenile court. And when a minor would come in having committed a crime on the delinquency side, we would have to do background checks. And what we would discover most of the time is they had been in the building before as a victim of abuse and neglect. Violence begets violence, and the untreated trauma will lead to a victim evolving into a perpetrator of the violence. So violence interruption, violence prevention works. Right now in Chicago, we have the lowest gun violence rate since 1962.
That's right. That's right.
And what we have the beginnings of the corporate community. They've committed $100 million to violence interruptions. They're stepping up when the federal government is stepping away.
That's right.
And it's not that this $100 million that's going to come from the corporate community should come in and supplant what was coming. It should supplement.
That's right.
Because unfortunately, Chicago has had a reputation internationally for its violence. We have a superintendent right now. I was with him a couple of days ago. He appreciates what violence interruption has been doing within the city, because it makes his job easier. And so we do have to lift our voices collectively, and you do have my commitment towards that advocacy.
Thank you.
I want to...
Erica, one more.
If I might, I just want to say thank you from the great golden state of California. We have put tens and hundreds of millions of dollars into violence interruption programs. Why? Because they work. The data shows it. The evidence shows it. We know that hurt people, healed people, heal people, and that programs that work need to be scaled and amplified and touch more lives. And so thank you for what you've created, not just in New York, but across the country. You've shown a different way, a better way, and so I'm grateful for you and for the work that you've done.
Yes, thank you.
I want to just say to all of our storytellers here, thank you for your stories. Thank you for speaking up. Thank you for speaking out. When, as someone who has the honor and privilege of being in elected office, who has positional power to do what I've always wanted to do, which is take steps and take action to make people's lives better and to solve problems, the most powerful thing for me has always been people telling their authentic stories in their own words, in their own voices, in their own way, sharing an injustice or a wrong or a problem, and me knowing that I have the ability, the power, the authority to right that wrong, to remedy that injustice, to solve that problem. So all these stories are so important today, and I want to just draw a through line between them, which is they all talk about the critical funding and essential funding that's been withheld and revoked, or at least attempted to, for services. And we keep hearing about waste, fraud, and abuse from the Trump administration. That is their selling point. That is their talking point. It is wrong. It is intellectually dishonest. What they're really talking about is things that are the exact opposite. The opposite of waste, fraud, and abuse. Critical and essential services that save lives, that protect health, that secure our futures, whether it's Medicaid or Social Security or Head Start or education or veterans benefits or LGBTQ plus services. And these are about real lives and real people. And I always believe that our communities, our nation should be judged on how we treat our most vulnerable, our seniors and our children, our sick and our poor. And based on that metric, this administration is getting an F- and is miserably failing in supporting our most vulnerable. It is withholding funding. And so this isn't just wrong and devastating, it is also unlawful. This president desperately wants the power of the purse, a power that belongs to Congress, a totally separate branch of government, not to the president. We will not allow it. So please keep telling your stories, keep fighting, keep speaking up, keep showing up, keep speaking out. We will fight right alongside you, and I know together we will prevail. Thank you.
Good evening. First, I want to thank all of you for coming out and listening to us at a time where congressmen are canceling town halls. We really appreciate you listening to the people. We also appreciate you every single day protecting the people. My name is Dr. Alexandria Connolly, and I'm one of the Hudson Valley's, feel free to clap. Oh, my kids is in the back recording me. I better be proper. I am part of Windward Black Women for the Lower Hudson Valley, which includes Westchester County. First, I want to say I am elated to work in a state where the New York State AG and the New York State Education Commissioner, Betty Rose, collaborate to ensure that every student has the opportunity to learn. A state where we will not accept discrimination in any form, and where LGBTQ students can live and go to school in a welcome and affirming environment. So Attorney General James, on behalf of the students in this more than 700 districts and the 37 BOCES in the state of New York, thank you.
Thank you.
We know that the U.S. Department of Education is trying to be dismantled by this administration. This department was created to counter discrimination after Brown versus the Board of Education. Research shows that in this country, black students are disproportionately suspended for subjective reasons across the board. I come from the great city of Yonkers, where 56%, and you know I'm from Yonkers because I say Yonkers and not Yonkers, or YO. 56% of our students are Latino, and they're suspended 54% of the time. 16% of our students are white, they're suspended 8% of the time. And 20% of our students are black, and they're suspended at 42%. And so, it is important that we counter these biases. We need an administration and a government and leaders like you who will stand up for our young people. I'm a school administrator, a district administrator in Westchester County, and I talk to my students every day. Because my mentor, Regent Johnson, told me that education is the foundation for a healthy democracy. Our students are not our future leaders, they're our current leaders. I have students that can be doing anything else today, like Fortnite, playing in the park, going to the mall, but they're doing homework. There will be no homework passes. But they're here. They're here. And if you want to take pictures with them later, I'll gather them for you. Shameless plug. And so, Regent Johnson would always say, how are the children? Old African proverb. And when you say the children are well, that means we have a healthy society. So what can you say to our young people today, what is their charge? What do they need to do? Because I always tell my students, there are no heroes. Superman and Batman are not coming. There are no capes. You are the teller of your own destiny. So what can they do today to help make sure that democracy is here tomorrow?
Excellent. So, Doctor, as you know, most movements start with young people, and they have to recognize the power that's in their hand. And if you look all throughout the history of this country and all throughout the globe, every movement, again, standing up for democracy, usually started with a young person. And so I look to young people each and every time. They give me courage. I look to them, they inspire me, because we're fighting for their future. But they too must raise their voices, defend this democracy at this point in time, and to let them know that they must continue to study. We will do what we have to do. All of you out there will do what will do what you have to do. We will stand up for their future, for our democracy, for our country, for their rights and all of our liberties. It's really critically important that we have so many young people in the audience today. I am encouraged by them. I'm inspired by them, and that is why each and every day I walk into the office of the Attorney General and I file a lawsuit on behalf of them.
Let me also add on. First of all, let me acknowledge your jacket, and because my wife called me while I was up here, and she's naked, so I wouldn't be able to go home if I didn't acknowledge the AKA.
You married well. You married well.
You know, young people can communicate in a way that I don't know how. You know, I don't know how to TikTok. I don't know how to, but they can raise their voices and spread their voices faster and more infectious than certainly than I can. Maybe some Matt's a little younger than me, so he probably knows how to do it. But it's important, as you explained in your testimony before your question, that they know the extent to which the dismantling of the attempt to dismantle the Department of Education impacts them, and it is the time for the Coreys of the world to raise their voices. And it does have a disproportionate impact on people of color, children of color, children with disabilities, learning disabilities. That is, the former Secretary of Education, I connect everything back to basketball, was my backcourt teammate in high school, Arnie Duncan. And by the way, to the previous speaker, he's in Chicago right now working in violence intervention space. But we've been collectively working together and advocating together, fighting against this targeting of the Department of Education. And the Department of Education has been in their crosshairs for some time now. But it has a disproportionate, devastating impact. And you're right, the voices, not only our voices, but the voices of our children need to be heard.
And Doctor, before you sit down, let me just say disparate treatment, the data and the stats that you provided. As you know, we have a civil rights unit in the Office of the New York State Attorney General, and we are examining those stats as well. So I thank you.
Hi, my name's Eileen O'Connor. I live in Yonkers. Yonkers is in the house. I'm a leader in our NYC 1615 Indivisible group. I'm a Democrat, a district leader, and a former ward leader in Yonkers. I'm married to my spouse, Liz, and we have a daughter. Thank you so much for providing the space to be heard and to speak with you directly. Thank you for all you've done to protect us from Donald Trump and his assaults on our freedoms. He has kidnapped people off the streets without due process and has sent them to other countries. He has cut out departments and agencies that we all depend on for our public good and he has very specific plans to harm the well-being and safety of our families, our children, by threatening to cut Medicaid, Medicare, public safety, and public education. I'm a family nurse practitioner and have worked in a family practice in a federally qualified health center in the South Bronx for decades. I'm the HIV coordinator there. I take care of pregnant patients, infants, the elderly, and everybody in between. We have a top-notch team that includes community health workers, social workers, behavioral health providers, family doctors, nurse practitioners, and an amazing support staff. And we provide excellent care to our community. We need that entire team to continue that work. My pregnant patient is eligible for Medicaid, and her infant will be as well because of the combination of funds from the federal, state, and city levels. Our HIV team is intact because of federal Ryan White funding. We can get our uninsured HIV patients their medicines that keep them healthy and also keeps our community healthy. We are one of the few places that provides HIV primary care in a family practice that allows our patients to stay within their community. This takes the continuous support and education of provider and support staff. Our LGBTQ+ patients get the care they need. We have a sliding scale fee that allows people without insurance to have access to health care without having to delay getting their health needs, preventative care, their diabetes, their high blood pressure attended to, regardless of their immigration status. Just yesterday, I met a family who had been out of care for more than 4 years because they lost their insurance and had no clue that they were eligible to come in and be seen and probably pay $1 per visit, given their incomes. All of this community-based comprehensive health care is threatened by Trump and his agency heads. We have seen that what withholding HIV meds can do in Africa. It undoes decades of good work and destroys community health within weeks. Please don't let that happen here. Our families need SNAP, Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security to remain intact. We need to continue to provide care to all of our community, regardless of their immigration status, sexual and gender identity, and health issues. Our Indivisible group, along with many others, have been protesting the threatened cuts to these services since the election. We read Project 2025. We are so glad you've been at the forefront suing Trump, Health and Human Services, and on so many other fronts. We need you to keep fighting for us, for our freedoms. We need our state and local officials to be as brave as you have been, to have the courage to stand up, speak out, and protect all of us. You are epicenters of courageousness. Those waves of courage have rippled out. Our activist waves are in sync with you. More of our neighbors are understanding what is happening under this regime. Please stay strong. Keep our tattered republic intact. We have your back.
Thank you. Let me just say that courage is contagious. And I want to thank you because if, in fact, they cut Medicaid, it's going to affect low-income communities.
It is.
We've seen so many hospitals in low-income and underserved communities close as a result of low Medicaid rates. And the threats that this administration poses to your health care center and so many is going to be devastating to low-income individuals. I thank you for caring for them, and I thank you for seeing their humanity, and I thank you for standing with us, and I want to thank Indivisible for raising their voices.
Yes, thank you, Indivisible. And we're going to draw, we know a lot of folks have questions, so we want to draw just a few more.
Michael, AGs wanted to respond.
Apologies.
I just, my late father wouldn't allow me not to respond because my late father was a community physician who actually went to medical school in Haiti. So he was an immigrant and a community physician who never turned back a patient for their inability to pay. One of the things I want to say about this advocacy with regards to Medicaid, one of my colleagues said it earlier, our fight is not a partisan fight.
Right.
This impact of the threatened care cuts to Medicaid impacts just as many Republicans and independents as it does Democrats. And as we crank up our voices in advocacy, some of us have friends who have different party labels. It's important that we talk to them, because where the real pressure is going to occur to fight back against these cuts, if they do it as Keith said earlier, the legal way, by way of their congressional budget, is the pressure from those districts, from those Republicans and those independents that likewise depend on Medicaid. So we can't just be insular about our advocacy. We need to spread this out.
Apologies. So we know that a lot of folks want to ask questions, and we're doing it in the fairest way possible through a lottery system. So I'm going to pick the next two questions after this person asks a question, and that is 301023. 301023. That's great. And we will select 301-086. 301-086. Anybody? We do? We'll select one more. 301-213. 301-213. We'll try one more. Did we get it? We got it. All right, great. If you can come over here and we'll check your ticket. Thank you. Our next.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Attorney General James. Good evening, Attorneys General Arowol, Ellison, and Platkin. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Anthu Huang, and I'm with We Act for Environmental Justice. Greetings from Harlem, New York City. We thank you, Attorney General James, for your continued partnership through so many years. And as you know, for decades, the environmental justice movement has labored with little or no resources. Finally, in the last administration, we were finally given some resources through the Inflation Reduction Act and the amendment of the Clean Air Act, Section 138. We received funding through the Thriving Community Technical Assistance Centers, the community change programs, in order to create real change and build the base and capacity of our movement. And since 2023, we've engaged thousands of New York's residents throughout New York, New Jersey, the Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico. We have provided technical support to enable them to apply for funding, to develop programs, and build their base, to really build the movement. Last week, on May 6th, our funding was abruptly cut with no justification, with no legality. We believe this termination is illegal. And it goes against the will of the American people and the will of Congress. The money that was given to us was appropriated through legal channels, and as the Attorney General earlier said, this administration does not seem to care about following legal formalities, because if they had done it through legal means, it would have been illegal. So my question to you is, can you and the coalition of attorney generals here and in the other 20 states that are in cooperation with you commit to investigate the illegality of these abrupt terminations of congressionally appropriated funding to support equity in environmental protection, public health protection, and equity in decision making? Will you consider taking legal action to help us reinstate these programs that have proved so effective and so valuable to our community and in building our movement? And can you join us in advocating with the courageous members of Congress to reinstate these programs at the federal level so that we can continue to support communities of color and people of low income to live better lives and have better environmental protection? Thank you.
Thank you. As you know, this administration does not believe in science and/or facts. And as you know, we analyze all of our cases to determine whether or not we have standing. We will look to determine whether or not we have jurisdiction, and we will look at the harms to see whether or not we can bring any action. I want everyone to know that the President of the United States cannot overrule the power of the purse, which belongs to Congress. All of his acts exceed his authority. They're arbitrary, they're capricious. And it's really critically important that all of us understand that the Inflation Reduction Act was statutorily mandated by Congress. And as a result of that, he cannot just dismiss it, ignore it with the stroke of a Sharpie. He just can't do it. And that's why we have taken action, and that's why we have been successful in our efforts. We will continue to stand up for you. We will continue to stand up for an environmental justice going forward. He just recently eliminated some grants for wind energy here in the state of New York. We've taken action against him. Sure, we filed an action against him, and there's some other environmental cases we've taken action for.
EV. Well, yeah, so we just filed one of them because he's pulling out the EV, electronic vehicle infrastructure. So here's the answer to your question.
I'm surprised Elon likes that, by the way.
Right, that's really crazy. The answer is yes. You asked us to consider it. We will consider it. We meet about 3-4 times a week, and we'll make sure that your issue's on the agenda. Just want to let everybody know, though we want to sue on every wrong thing he does, we have to ask ourselves, do we have standing? Is it right? There's a bunch of legal hurdles we got to jump through before we can file a lawsuit. But you asked if we will consider it, and I think all of us say yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hello, just wanted to say thank you. And thank you. I mean,
don't get it. Come on. Breathe. It's okay. Now go.
we know that you are protecting us, and we are here to protect you.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Niall Sally. From Westchester, from White Plains, work for Westchester County. It just seems that we all here are normal people. And if it was us, we'd be in trouble. But it seems like, it constantly seems that we have to go to court. We have to see, and I think many of us know that it's illegal. But I just wonder what the process is to move this forward so that we can survive this.
We're going to be okay, because we're all in this together, one community. And each and every time he issues an executive order, we respond. We prepared for this moment prior to the election. We all came together because I was there during Trump 1, Trump 1.0, and so many others. We analyzed Project 2025. We analyzed jurisdiction. We analyzed claims. We analyzed standing. We distributed all of the subject matter to each respective states. We're ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is a time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side, and the one institution that has stood by our side is the courts. We will not give in, not give up. We will not capitulate. We will not bow. We will not bend. We will survive. I was holding back, trying to be good.
You know, Tish, if I may just say quickly, and I know the hour's getting late, but I just want to say, I do thank this sister for being brave enough to show her emotion. She's not the only one. She's not the only one feeling a certain kind of way about the moment that we're in. Am I right about that?
That's right.
There's been a lot of anxiety and a lot of pressure. That's why I said before, we do need our clergy, our social workers, our psychologists to get on a call and figure out how to help us manage this moment. This is important because we're in this, you know, we got 4 years of this, people. And so let me just say, she asked a question though. What is the process for us getting it through? The truth is, we're doing it right now. People coming together, raising their voices, using, yes, the legal system, but also using the First Amendment. What is the First Amendment? The freedom of assembly, the freedom of expression, the freedom to redress grievances. Lord knows we need to have freedom of faith because we need to get through this. And this is how, and the freedom of the press. And this is how we're going to win. There's nobody, who said there's no Superman, Batman coming? That's true. The only superheroes to save this democracy is us. So, just like our leader said, let's buck up, gird up, lift each other up, and fight back.
Right.
So we know that there are a lot of folks that want to ask questions, so we're going to draw just a couple more. We've got 307053. 307053. Try another. We're trying to do this in the fairest way possible. 301077. 301077. Okay. Let's try for 301204. Do we get it? Do we get it? We got it. We'll do one more. 301020. That's you? Let's have you ask a question then. Great. I'll turn it over to this person who's going to ask a question too.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for being heroes, especially in a time when unilateral power is challenging the constitutional rights. I learned a lot today. I'm Calvin Shum from the World Mission Society Church of God, and we share mother's love, and I want to know, in the theme of unity from state, local, and federal, how can middle school, high school students, university students, and young professionals all across the country be here to serve? How can we help with a movement that's not just in the United States, but all throughout the world, because we're one family?
So we recently filed a lawsuit because they wanted to dismantle AmeriCorps. It's a volunteer agency where individuals go all throughout the globe to help others in times of disaster, et cetera. We have a number of AmeriCorps volunteers, not only in New York, but all across this nation. And so when that executive order came down, we immediately responded because we recognize the value of volunteerism. We also recognize that we have to be there for whenever another state, or whenever there's a catastrophe, or whenever there's individuals who are suffering. It's really critically important to teach young people about civics and about the importance of caring for one another, and that which separates us, that which distinguishes us, are basically artificial constructs, and that we're all part of one human family, and we need one another. And so you need me, and I need you. And AmeriCorps obviously is an organization that teaches that. That's why we filed that lawsuit. That's why we sought a preliminary injunction. And that's why we have been winning in all of our litigation, because we recognize the value of these programs. And again, these programs were not put in place by any president. They were primarily funded by members of Congress, and members of Congress have the power of the purse, and not one individual who basically wants to command and further his executive power, which is authoritarianism, not my democracy. It's a fragile democracy, right. But damn it, I'm going to fight for it.
relates to the question that was asked before, and I look out and I see the red shirts, and I got to give Moms Demand a shout out.
Yay!
Moms. And it's relevant because when I was in high school, it was the first time I really started getting out there, and it was about the renewal of the federal assault weapons ban. And I had friends going off to fight in Iraq and Afghanistan, and I didn't think we needed the same weapons of war at home that they needed to keep them safe overseas. And I was totally ineffective. Totally ineffective. Like, where I grew up, I wasn't winning anybody's hearts and minds. But I learned a little bit about how to get involved. And I look now, 20 years later, and I don't know if the congressman's here, but 2 years ago, because of advocacy of kids who were my age when I started, they passed the first bipartisan gun safety legislation in a generation. Now, is it everything we wanted? Of course not. But it was because of kids and youth and, frankly, moms who came together and got that across the finish line. So I'm sure we're past Corey's bedtime by now. It's probably getting close to ours. You know, that's the key. It's not rocket science. Start showing up and encourage younger people to make their voice heard, because I know we listen when they do.
Yeah, that's right.
And can I just also echo that and say, you know, yes, we deal with federal initiatives and we respond to the president and his illegal and unlawful executive orders. But we also work with the FBI and other federal agencies and law enforcement agencies on gun trafficking, drug trafficking, fentanyl, opioids, et cetera. And so collectively, we have removed a significant number of illegal guns. I know in the state of New York, I have removed over 7,000 illegal guns off of the streets in the state of New York. Again, and it's because of moms demanding action, because of all the work that they are doing. Again, we've got to stand up and we've got to remove ghost guns that are unserialized guns because they pose a threat to law enforcement. And so that's what we really should be focusing on, the issues that people care about, because so many individuals in New York and all throughout this nation are dying from opioid overdose and fentanyl. And obviously, that's where we should be focused, as opposed to focusing on executive orders that basically want to tear us apart.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And we will take our final question.
I know you're also excited. I'm your final question. Okay. So, and apparently this jacket is very, very, very lucky today, because I'm more than one person with the same jacket. So I'm Dr. Tracy Gardner. I am the Chief Medical Officer for a child welfare agency. And I also sit on the board of directors for children with disabilities, adults and children with disabilities. So my question to you is, it appears that everything that they're trying to do is centered around all the things I do, right? Everything that has to do with immigration. I actually do some work on accompanied minors. I actually am a pediatrician. I do immunizations. I work with child welfare, vulnerable populations. I work with people with disabilities. Everything that I do is centers around Medicaid or health. And so my question to you is, what can we do in the health field on the ground to help you, so that how we can help ourselves, but how that we can help you, because you're really the last, other than us, it's you and us. That's it, right? And so we know that we need each other in order to do this, and we really need, if you need to tell us what you need us to do so that I can be most effective. I'm gonna continue to take care of people, but I think there's some advocacy pieces that I also need for myself and to help the patients that I serve.
I want to thank you for taking care of children, with disabilities. Children without a voice, and children oftentimes who are locked out of the sunshine of opportunity, and children who are also invisible. So I want to thank you for what you do. And it's really critically important that the reason why we had this town hall meeting was, one, to frame our litigation, but also our litigation requires affidavits and data. I am data-oriented. And in order to supplement our litigation, it's important that we have affidavits, declarations, data, information from individuals on the ground. That was the purpose of this. This was much, obviously this was a feel-good moment, but for me, this is about getting information that I can include in my litigation and include in our complaints. That was my purpose. And so I thank you for all that you do each and every day, because oftentimes people don't want to really talk about children with disabilities, but we've got to stand up for those who are lost and those obviously who are invisible and those without a voice. So I'm here today to stand up for vulnerable and marginalized populations and to use the law both as a sword and as a shield, and to let individuals know that we should not be fearful but fearless at this moment of time. And that if you care about this democracy, if you took an oath, if you pledge to the flag, and you've got to take those words to heart. And that's why it's so really critically important. This woman has had her hand up. Because you've been having your hand up, I'm going to let you say the last words. Go ahead. Okay.
Okay. Hi, my name is Linda Toe. I live in White Plains. I represent the mentally ill in White Plains. I go to a Sterling Club for the mentally ill. We provide classes where we talk. We have subsidized lunch. We get trips on the weekends. We get money from the state and a grant. And I'm worried that we won't have this club anymore for the mentally ill. Most of my friends are schizophrenic and bipolar. And if that money is cut off, we'll be sitting home watching TV, which will make our mental health even worse. Yeah. I have depressive disorder as well as a sleeping disorder. If my Medicaid is cut and I'm not on medication, I could go into psychosis. And I don't want to go into psychosis. So please protect my Medicaid as much as you can.
Yeah.
Please protect. My food stamp was cut. My workers said I lost $23. When I looked at my account, I lost $50. $50 is nothing to you. It's a night on town. But for me, it's snacks for my kid, and it's dinner for me for 3 days. So I lost that money, and there's nobody I can complain to. So I tell you, District Attorney, please protect the hungry, the poor, the disabled. And I pray that you can do this work for me, because I can't do it.
I'm so glad you closed this meeting with your testimony. That was powerful, and I thank you. There's a club back in my beloved Brooklyn, and it's a club where individuals who are dealing with schizophrenia come. They get their lunch, they get their breakfast, we read to them, we talk to them, we laugh. It's all about community, and I know you have a similar club in White Plains. I will remember your testimony. We will continue to fight for you. Thank you for standing up for the mentally ill. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for your testimony. And thank you for being relentless and unflinching and refusing to put your hand down. Thank you so much. Amazing. I want to thank all of you for telling your story. It's important that we tell our stories, and I want to thank my fellow attorneys general from California and Minnesota and Illinois and New Jersey for all of their support and all of their collaboration. This administration obviously has a complete disregard for our basic democracy, which is foundational to everything that we believe in. But we will not and must not normalize this behavior. And we must demand that our government be grounded and reflect our values, and especially the rule of law. We also want to stand up for all of those immigrants right now who are being kidnapped. Immigrants who are afraid to come out to go to work, to go to school. Immigrants who are afraid to go to court, who have been witnesses in cases. Individuals who we know who are our neighbors. Immigrants who care for us, recognizing that this is a country of immigrants. They serve you each and every day. They may be nameless and faceless, but they are our neighbors, and they run our economy. And so we must reject this notion that all of them are violent and gangbangers. And that's why we are here today, to be in community. We're going to continue to have these town hall meetings, these community meetings all throughout this nation, so that our stories will be told. And I will not back down, will not capitulate, will not give in to anyone. It's all about being fearless and not fearful. Let's stand together. One nation, indivisible, under God, with truth and justice for all. Good job.
Mother, mother, there's too many of you crying. Brother, 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 there's far too many of you dying. You know we've got to find a way to bring some loving here today. Yeah. Father, Father, we don't need to escalate. You see, war is not the answer, for only love can